Deej, you and Gary have brought up names that I've never heard of, female characters. Were there other Time Lords that were women that were in the series that they could have been used?
There was female Time Lords. We were introduced long back in Baker's era to Romano, who was another Time Lord that was sent on a mission for him to find the Key of Time, which was segments. And we found out about she was better at regeneration than he was, because when it came to the time for her to regenerate, she tried on multiple bodies, all female though, of course. She swapped genders. She stayed a female, but she could control her regeneration to where during her time period, during it, she tried on multiple bodies.
So explain to me regeneration for a moment. What is that?
Well, prior to the Timeless Children, regeneration was the Time Lords were human before, but they once Omega and Rassilon worked their magic with the time vortex, it's their proximity to the time vortex gave them the ability to regenerate, but they limited it to 12. There was a rule. You can only do 12. That came all this comes, as time goes on in Doctor Who. And that was the rule forever. William Hartnell was the first Doctor, 12 regenerations. Rassilon and Omega had their little beef. Omega, a great villain who showed up in the Three Doctors, right? And who was kind of screwed over, or at least saw that. I think he was screwed over. I think Omega was screwed over. And that was it. And that was the regeneration was a way to keep the show going. And it was developed after William Hartnell couldn't do the show anymore.
Originally, it wasn't called regeneration; it was renewal.
No, renewal.
Okay.
And William Hartnell, believe it or not, I am 1 year younger than William Hartnell was when he started the show. Look how freaking old people looked back then. Now, I'm not saying I look young, but I don't look like William Hartnell. But he had health issues because they lived hard back then, man. Freaking smoke and drank every day. But bless William Hartnell. He was a great guy. He wanted to keep going, but he couldn't. And so they came up with this concept of let's just renew it, and it worked.
So okay, going into Jodie Whittaker, did the fans ever get addressed, or were there any questions between creatives and fans as to why the Doctor was now female? Anything reasonable, or was it all pointing the finger and saying you're sexist if you don't like this?
It was put into canon, I believe, television-wise, with Moffat's era with Matt Smith when he talked about the Mighty Corsair on in The Doctor's Wife, where that's the first time he's like, he was a woman and he could change. Okay. That was like pretty much the first time, but that narrative has been around forever. Like they should make the Doctor a woman. That's been I can't even tell you. Maybe DJ, you can tell me, but I don't remember when that started, but it was like a long time.
All these newer people that said that the Doctor should be a woman kept going back to The Curse of the Fatal Death, which was a comedy special with Rowan Atkins. It was Rowan Atkins. It was a comedy special where they were making fun of Doctor Who throughout, how he could sit there and just telegraph something, then go back in time in his TARDIS, change what he did. And it was funny. It was comical. And you got the Doctor as a female in that one. But it was not, as far as us long-time Whovians knew, Time Lords did not change sex. There was Time Lords and Time Ladies. They were set. But they had to come up with some bullshit reason and try to do this.
And the motivation was political. Absolutely.
Yep, it was all political.
It was Chris Chibnall said he would not come on board unless the Doctor was a woman, and then tried to, out of both sides of his mouth, say we've got the best person for the job. It's like, no, you excluded half the population. And I don't care what color the Doctor's skin is. He's a dude. That's where I've always landed and always will land. And it was, and once I was confirmed about this, I'm like, well, they're not only just going to make it a woman, they're going to like make this show, they're going to dial the woke up to 11, and they did almost immediately. And then how are you going to portray a Time Lord or lady who can go back in time? And you're going to go back in the 1500s during the witch trials and have a woman walk around with her ankles exposed and stuff. And they talk about it and they joke, but like they wouldn't put up with that crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it makes things difficult, but there is ways you can address it. Like lean into it then. If you're going to go there, but they didn't. The reason I say it was agenda is because they wanted to make, because they want to blend the genders. We've seen that now play out to its most ridiculous parody of itself now. But that's what they wanted to do. They want to say there's no difference. There's absolutely no difference. Well, it's BS. There is a huge difference. So when Jodie Whittaker came in, she came in and played it like a guy, badly. Like her performance was bad. Like
it was basically a cosplay between Tennant and Smith's doctors. She just threw them both together and tried to act like both of them.
Really?
And it was horrible.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
So you're right, DJ. You are right. They are paying way too much attention to people who don't buy anything, particularly Doctor Who. Like the Tumblr crowd with Doctor Who didn't buy anything. The occasional pop vinyl, maybe. But when you brought up earlier, Stephen, what kept Doctor Who alive through the dark period was the hardcore fandom. The ones who would buy every big finished thing they can get their hands on, would get bootlegs, would get books, would buy comic books, would draw fan art, even write fanfic, which I think is okay as long as it stays with fanfic. Whatever keeps your fandom alive. Talk to each other in forums, and then eventually on Tumblr and Facebook and all these other places and Facebook groups. That's what kept it alive. And the first thing you do is raise the middle finger to the people who made it what it was. Time and time again, you know, I don't know how Hollywood's starting to learn that lesson now, but it's years too late. It is years too late.
DJ, what message would you give to any future reader of this book?
I would say don't pay attention to the crap they're doing nowadays. Just go back, get your physical media, watch the classic eras. Forget about this crap nowadays. Go back and watch when it was good and when it meant something. And don't let people hate on you for loving something that's been around for decades just because you don't want to pay attention to their crap that they want to push on you now.
I would echo that sentiment. What Doctor Who was prior to, and a lot of our franchises, but what Doctor Who was prior to the Jodie Whittaker era and the woke era of Peter Capaldi was timeless. It was timeless tales that can be enjoyed in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Yeah, it'll look dated, some of the older stuff, but they're good. They're at their heart, at their core, good stories with good characters. That stuff will always carry over. And yeah, start with the first Doctor and work your way up to the 50th anniversary, and you've got that will take a lot of time, and you will have fun.
DJ, is there any closing statements you'd like to offer to the chapter?
My main thought is just hold the faith. Keep true to yourself, and don't bow to the pressures. Enjoy what you enjoy. Stick with it.
Beautiful, brother. Gary, anything you'd like to say?
Continue to have fun. Don't worry about people on social media criticizing you, because there'll always be. You can say there's a beautiful sunset and somebody will criticize you for it, probably named Ryan Kinnell. And they're just, it is just farts in the wind. That's all it is. You be true to yourself. What DJ say? You just stay. I'll use my I statements. As long as I remain authentic and authentic and truthful and honest, rigorous honesty. I don't require redemption, approval, or anything, and neither do you. Neither do you.
Thank you guys so much for this. I appreciate you.